Hi, I'm Allan Arkush, and I love a behind-the-scenes rock and roll story or a movie story. And today's Trailer from Hell is the story of what happened to lead us to March 21st, 1955, the day the Blackboard Jungle premiered. Because Blackboard Jungle and rock and roll in the form of Rock Around the Clock and Teenage Rebellion all collided on that day. When that movie started and the kids heard Bill Haley and the Comets on those big speakers, they got up and danced. And according to the newspapers, they pulled stilettos out of their pants and slashed the seats. And here on Trails from Hell, we're going to find out the story behind that premiere. Exactly 3 years earlier, on March 21st, 1952, Alan Freed's Moondog Matinee, the first rock and roll concert ever, was halted after just one song. The teenagers rioted. That's right, juvenile delinquency was everywhere. Evan Hunter wrote a book about juvenile delinquency called Blackboard Jungle. And 18 months later, MGM optioned it, and Richard Brooks did an adaptation. Meanwhile, Bill Haley and the Comets, were a so-so rock and roll group, went into the studio to record a song called 13 Women and Only One Man in Town. It was a story of the world after a nuclear war. It was a really bad song. With 20 minutes left in the session, they worked on the B-side, which was a song that they liked and the record company hated. And in just 2 takes, they laid down Rock Around the Clock. Meanwhile, in Hollywood, USA, a young record collector, Peter Ford, went out and bought the new Bill Haley record, which was called 13 Women. He played it, and he had the same opinion everyone had. It stunk. So he turned it over, and there was Rock Around the Clock, and he played it over and over again. His mother, the singer Eleanor Powell, did not like the song, but his father heard it from the next room, came in and goes, "What is that?" He says, "It's Rock Around the Clock." And he says, "You know, I'm doing that movie Blackboard Jungle. I'm going to bring this record to Richard Brooks, the director." Richard Brooks hears the record and goes, "This is perfect," and makes it the theme of the movie. Well, 16 million copies later, Rock Around the Clock has gone to #1 twice. And it's actually a pretty good movie here, Blackboard Jungle. It's got a great cast. Glenn Ford gives a very sensitive performance, and Vic Morrow plays a total sociopath in his screen debut. He's the nemesis to Glenn Ford. The most interesting performance in the movie is that of Sidney Poitier. He plays a young leader of all the hoodlums. For a movie that has a racial story, this one is pretty advanced for 1955. The saddest part of the movie is poor Richard Kiley, the English teacher, who has his rare record collection destroyed by such hoodlums as director-to-be Paul Mazursky and the Love Boat's Jamie Farr. For me, it's almost unwatchable. In fact, it inspired me to burn Riff Randall's records in rock and roll high school. Blackboard Jungle did not have a good critical reaction. In fact, it was invited to the Venice Film Festival, and our very own ambassador to Italy, Claire Booth Luce, tried to have the movie barred from the festival. Well, she didn't succeed, but that didn't stop her husband, who was the publisher of Time magazine, for writing, and I quote, "Blackboard Jungle undermines the American way of life and gives comfort to the communists." Now I ask you, what better reason is there to watch such a classic rock and roll movie?